Yeah, you once again welcome to another video on our class. That's the introduction to teaching and then teaching their profession. So here today, we want to quickly look at understanding the three domain and the level of instructional objectives. Of course, like I said, this video is purely for teachers in training and teachers that are already in the service can also find the video useful. And if you are joining here for the first time, try to subscribe to this channel so that you keep getting notification whenever we have a video that has to do with teaching and teaching as a profession. So, of course, like I said, it's just to widen your horizon and also your understanding of how instructional objectives are classified and applied in teaching. So, it's going to explain the three major domains of the learning: the cognitive, which has to do with thinking; the affective, which has to do with your attitude and then behavior; then the psychomotor, which has to do with your physical skills and other things like that. And how these three domains contain the hierarchical level that progress from simple to more complex learning outcome. So, like I said in this video as well, you will be able to know the meaning. We have talked about that in our previous video. So, if you have not watched, just try to go back and look at what is the meaning of taxonomy, especially the taxonomy of education or the taxonomy of instructional objectives. So, we talk about the purpose of it as well. Then, here, like I said, we'll be talking about the key level within each domain, the remembering level to curating, receiving to characterizing, the imitation to naturalization, how this level can guide lesson plan and assessment, and also as well as the practical example you can apply in your classroom instruction, and why understanding progression is essential for effective teaching and learning. Like I said in my past video, you see, teaching is beyond just anyhow person job. Of course, majority of us agree that anybody can teach. You can pick up your chalk and get into the class and do whatever you want to do. Of course, you may be doing that for years without knowing the right thing to do. And this is affecting Nigerian classroom, is affecting classroom across the globe. And that is why we are trying to do this video. So if you are just joining for the first time, you can try to subscribe to this channel. You can also like the video. You can watch some of the past videos that we have done here. So today, like I said, we quickly start with the very first one of the video. Just like I've said in the last video, I'm going to start with cognitive. Of course, majority of us know about the Bloom taxonomy of 1956. It is the cognitive domain that deal with knowledge. So that's why I said the first one we are going to look at this domain is looking at the first one, which is the most essential, the cognitive. So the cognitive domain by Bloom taxonomy, the Bloom in 1956 is dealing with knowledge and intellectual ability. Anything that is dealing with thinking skill or knowledge or intellectual ability, that is what we refer to as well cognitive domain. And like I said, there are 6 levels under that. There are 6 levels under that, and we'll be looking at those 6 levels and examples of things. The first one is knowledge. Knowledge that involve recall of facts, divination, and information. So you remember that everything that has to do with instructional objective has to do with what the learner tend to achieve at the end of your class, or what you tend to achieve at the end of your class. That's what we mean by instructional objective. So, but here now we are talking about the taxonomies of instructional objectives, where we are picking the 3 domains developed by the Blue taxonomy, or let me say Benjamin Bloom's in 1956. So, which has to do with the cognitive, the affective, and the psychomotor. So, the first one, which is the cognitive, it has to do with 6 levels. It has to do with the 6 levels. So, the first level there is knowledge. Knowledge involves recall of facts. So any instructional objective that has to do with recall of fact, divination, or information is categorized under knowledge. I'll give you an example. Example is that if you say list 3 primary color, that is knowledge. You just want them to list 3 primary color, and they will tell you this, this, and that. That has to do with what? Primary color. Define photosynthesis. That has to do with knowledge about something you have taught them and you want them to recall. So because under your instructional objective, those questions are asked, they are classified into 3, either cognitive or affective or psychomotor. But we are looking at the one that has to be cognitive now. So the first one is that there are categories of questions that have to do with knowledge. And that is what. The number 2 is comprehension. Comprehension is showing understanding of information. You may be able to know, you may be able to list primary color, but you don't know what those colors are used for or where we can use those colors. So when you are now asking question that has to do with understanding of that information now, that is comprehension. So I'll give you an example. For example, now, if teachers ask like, explain why green is considered as a cool color, definitely you might have understand what you mean by green. If you don't know the meaning of green, you might have known that word. Okay, you must also understand what green is all about before you can explain why green is considered as a cool color. Or maybe in the areas of biology, if they say summarize the causes of water pollution, you might have understand what water pollution is all about. So that means somebody that could ask you summarize the causes of water pollution might have asked you what is water pollution. You yourself, you know what is water pollution. So asking a question like summarize the causes of water pollution is a comprehension question that the teacher wants to show understanding of that information that has to do with what? With pollution. Number 3 here is application. Application. Using knowledge to solve problem or perform tasks. That knowledge you get, ability to use it to what? To solve or perform a task is what is the question that has to do with what? Application. For example, they can say, apply the formula to calculate simple interest. In my own area there, we call it Pomo, Tatache, and what? Rodo. Principal times time times rate. Everything over 100. So you must know what P stand for, what time stand for, and what rate stand for. Or if somebody asks you that, can you use the general formula to find the root of a quadratic equation? At that particular moment, you might have been able to know what that formula is all about. So this time around now, you want to apply that formula to find the root of a quadratic equation. That's an application question. Or let me go to primary level. You say, use primary color to create secondary color. I'm going to ask now. Use primary color to create secondary color. That means you must know primary color before you can think of using the primary color to create secondary color. So any questions related to that are referred to as what? Application. So let's move on to the 4th one. Can you remind me the first one? The first one. Can you tell me the first one? The first one, knowledge, comprehension, application, and what? And the 4th one is analysis. Analysis is breaking information into parts to see the relationship. You are breaking information into parts to see the relationship. It's quite different from an application. You should be able to break information. It required 3 or 4 information. For instance, now they can say differentiate between vertebrate and invertebrate. That's an analysis question. Or if somebody said, okay, if the first time of an AP is 4 and the last term is 16, what is the sum of the second and the third number? What is the difference between the second and the third number? That is an analysis question. So because you must break that information into parts to see the relationship, you must first of all have a better understanding of an arithmetic progression. How do you find the first term? How do you find the end term? How do you find the common difference? That's in the areas of arithmetic progression. In the areas of geometric progression, how can you find the common ratio? It is the combination of those knowledge now that you are putting together. When you see a question related to that, that has to do with what? Analysis. The fifth one there is synthesis. That's synthesis question or synthesis level of question. So putting elements together to form something new. You are putting something together to form something new, creating something from where there is nothing before. That has to do with synthesis question. So I'll give you an example. For example, now design a poster using warm and cool colors. So that means in that poster they ask you to do everything we want to see there must be what? Must be a warm and a cool color. You must not use primary color. You are not telling you to use either primary color or secondary color, but you must use a warm and a cool color. So that's a synthetic question. Or create a short poem using environmental themes. You must know what poem is all about. You must know what environmental theme is all about. And you are bringing that together, putting elements together to form something new. That has to do with what? Synthetic. And the last thing there is what? Evaluation. Evaluation. And that is where you are making a judgment based on criteria. You are making judgment based on criteria. That kind of a question, they are rare questions of the high level. So I'll give you an example. For instance, now they can say, judge whether a news report is biased or balanced. Excuse me. Judge whether a new report is biased or balanced. Another example, you can say, evaluate the effectiveness of a lesson presentation. That kind of a question is an evaluation question. So those are the 6 levels under cognitive domain. And I will call the level again. The level 1 is knowledge, level 2 is comprehension, level 3 is application, level 4 is synthesis, level 5, sorry, level 1, that is knowledge, level 2 comprehension, level 3 application, level 4 analysis, level 5 synthesis, and level 6 is what? Evaluation. So now let's go to affective domain. Affective domain. Affective domain, I said, it has to do with attitude, it has to do with value, it has to do with feeling. And it was developed by Carol Blooms and Messier in 1964. This domain helps teachers to shape learners' character, interest, and value. Some students may be good academically and they may be bad in character. What about a student that always be the best student in the class, that is the one that always steal other people's material in the class? That student is what? Is bad in the areas of affective domain because he has a bad attitude. So you may say this child is good academically, but in terms of character, he doesn't merit to be promoted. So that's why sometimes your teacher will tell you that he has merited in academic and in what? In character. Guarantee to them before they give you your certificate, say this person has passed in what? In academics and in character. They have seen you that you want to be given a certificate. So they check those 3 levels of education: the cognitive, the affective, and the psychomotor. So affective this is a domain that helps teachers to shape learners' character, interest, and what? And value. And it has, let me say, it has 5 values, unlike cognitive that has 6 values. So this one has 5 levels. The first level is receiving. So this is a stage where you show willingness to listen, to notice, to pay attention. Receiving, that is the level that students show willingness to listen, to notice, and pay attention. For example, a student listening attentively to teachers explaining safety rules. Explain what safety rules. So when you are explaining to students that what yellow means ready, green means go, red means stop. When such child now get to the road and they saw red and he keep moving or keep driving his what is it called, bicycle, it's not that that student have not, it's not aware of the knowledge, but it's bad in terms of what affective domain. His attitude is very bad. So the second one is responding. That is the learner's activities participate. Learners actively participate in something. There are some learners like that. When you ask them, come and do this, they will tell you I don't have time. Come and do this, they will tell you I don't have time. So for instance, a student asks question or participates in a class discussion about recycling. Or maybe, okay, come. Can you come and meet Scholar now? Oh yeah, they pair them. You go and meet Tola. Tola, call me to join you there. Call Bolu to join you there. So a student asks question or participates in a class discussion that has to do with recycling or that has to do with any activity. So that is learners actively participate. When a learner, the teachers are watching you, the way you are doing. There are sometimes teacher will just look at you, get out of my class. That teacher might have taken a lot of time to notice your behavior. You see that you are not worthy to be in that class. Get out of my class. So that is at a responding level. The next one is value. Learner attach what or value to something. You'll be watching them. Maybe you ask them to bring expensive devices or expensive material to class to teach them. And that person just look at it and somebody just stole my own thing, and he just collect another person's own and smash it on the floor. So that means such learner did not value anything. So learners attach what or value to something. An example is that the learners begin to appreciate teamwork or prefer team activity. They say, oh, can you keep this material to tomorrow or to next class? And the following class, where are those materials that are kept in your custody? I can't find them. I can't see them. So when you are judging such child, in terms of value, that person is what? Is worthless. The next one is in the areas of organization. Integration of different value to form a value system. A student organize a personal study time, respect school rules consistently. Time to resume in this school is 7 a.m. And you see some students coming into the school around 7:45 when they are already on the assembly ground. Such student is not organized. So it's lack in the areas of what? Affective domain. That is the fourth level, which is organization. The fifth level is characterization by value complex. Values become part of one's lifestyle. Behavior is consistent. You are noticing someone, and give them something to do for you, do the task at appropriate time. There are some students that if you help them, please, can you keep this money for me till tomorrow? They will go and keep that money inside a valuable textbook. And tomorrow, the following day, please, I asked you to keep some money for me yesterday. Yes, ma'am, this is the money. And the teacher might have noticed the numbers on the money. Wow, you didn't spend this money over a month. Ah, it's not fair. So characterization by what? By value complex. Example, a learner who has internalized honesty will refuse to cheat even without supervision. For my years as a teacher, as a secondary school teacher, there are some schools that I can tell you that if you go to that school, they can never cheat. Even if you leave them, if you leave students in that school and go for 1 hour, when you come back after 1 hour, you still see the students in their position. Such students are characterized by what? By value. So those are the 5 levels of affective domain. The first level is what? Receiving. The learner show willingness to listen, to notice or pay attention. The second one is responding. Learners actively participate. The third one is valuing. That is learners attach worth or value to something. The fourth one is organization. That is integration of different value to form a value system. The fifth one, which is the last one, is characterization by value complex. And the last domain we'll be talking about here is, of course, the psychomotor domain. The psychomotor domain has 6 levels as well. It has 6 levels as well. It has 6 levels. The first level for psychomotor is reflective movement. Reflective movement. Involuntary action, not controlled by learner. Involuntary action, not controlled by learner. Example, blinking at a bright light. They say, can none of you come out? You point us towards them. Can you blink your eye towards it? And it's blinking. And it's looking at that light without closing his eyes. That's a skill. That's a reflective what? Movement. The second one is the basic fundamental movement. The simple skills such as walking, jumping, holding object. You can ask a student, hold this pencil correctly. They hold it correctly. Hold it correctly and write freely. That is the basic fundamentals of what? Movement. Jump over low. That is in the areas of your physical and health education. You do your bamboo jumping, you started jumping. Skipping rope, they give you skipping rope and you are doing, those are basic fundamentals of what? Of movement. The third level is perpetual ability, using senses to guide motor activity, like tracing shape, using eyes, and coordination. You can give maybe at the primary level, you just do a job that form a circle, and you said that you ring around that. That is a perpetual ability. The fourth one is physical ability. That's the strength, how a student can endure, flexibility. How many of you can go on 1,005 grades without stop? That's showing their physical ability, the strength. So at that particular moment, you started knowing that, oh, this person is physically fit. This student is fit to become a soldier. This student is fit to become this. That is the physical ability. Like running laps, gymnastics, stretching. That is the physical ability. The fifth one is skill movement. That's the complex, the coordinated skill. Drawing a map accurately, drumming, tying gailing. There are some students like that right from their secondary school, when female teacher called them to come and tie gailing for them, quickly do that. That one is a skill movement. Or football. Somebody that become like an Okosha, JJ Okosha, something like that. Oh, this boy can do 10 people at a time. That one is a skill movement. And the last one is non-discursive communication, expressing movement. A dancer expressing emotion with body movement. Those are those that do choreography. Before you tell them to do one sign like that, they've got it. They sing music freely. If you ask them to come and mimic someone, they do that quickly. That one is non-discursive communication. So those are the 6 levels of what? Of psychomotor domain. So let me just jump this one to that. We talk about the interface of the three domain. The interface of the three domain. Where did they interfere? In real teachings and learning, domains are interwoven. Sometimes you may be thinking this one is cognitive, but it is affective. You may be thinking this one is affective, it may be what? Cognitive. So those are what I mean by that. So for example, color mixing now. Color mixing, identifying and explaining a primary color is cognitive. Show enthusiasm for creative activity. That one is affective. Mix paint to create a new color. That one is psychomotor because it has to do with skill. So in that wise, none of the 3 one can be neglected if aimed for what? For holistic development. So I can say instructional objective must never use in such a way that you be mixing the things up or in other things like that. So what I will do is that I'm going to put some question here. Maybe you just try to answer. I will just give you one question in the chat for those that are still joining me here. Then you just try to answer the question. Can you answer this question? Instructional objectives are described as behavioral because I put my option there. So can you answer that if you are still online? Or if you come across this video, can you answer this question? Can you answer this question? It's on the screen now. What's the correct answer? What's the correct answer? What is the correct answer? So just select your correct answer and put your correct answer on the comment section for me. Instructional objective described as behavioral because they focus on the teacher's activity. 2, they emphasize behaviorable learners' action. They deal mainly with school policy. Which one is the correct answer? I want your response in the comment section. I want your response in the correct comment section. Let me see. Let me see your response. Let me see your response in the comment section. Let me give you one more. Let me give you one more. Let me give you one more question. Can you answer this? Can you answer this? Can you answer this? An object such as the learner will describe at least 2 reasons why color is important in design belong to which of the domain? Cognitive, affective, psychomotor, or social domain? You can drop your answer in the comment section and let's see those that get the class. So ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end of this class, and in our next class, we'll be looking at lesson plan and lesson plan preparation, lesson notes and preparation. What is lesson note and how do we prepare lesson note? So till I come your way again, my name is T. Kayode Adewale. If you are joining us for the first time, you can just try to subscribe to this channel, like the video, and share the video with any teachers in training, teachers in College of Education, University, Faculty of Education, or teachers in service. What we are trying to do is to make sure we change and make sure the teaching profession become the best and better profession in the world. Thank you. Bye for now.